Alright, the thing that nobody asked for, but I'm doing anyways, the Broforce Forever tier list. This includes all characters and the new ones. I'm also going to include the Expendables as well, because they're still included in Broforce. Like you actually can play them in Broforce, but I'm only considering the Expendables expansion. And I see nobody include them in their rankings. A few things I want to go over is that my word is not gospel. Just because I don't think a character is good, doesn't mean that you can't like that character anymore or tell people it isn't good. This happens vice versa, whether you agree with my opinion or not. Secondly, I want to say that I'm not the best Broforce player out there. Got a solid 60 hours in the game if that means anything, and a good grasp about each character's mechanics. So don't expect me to know some pro or speedrun level mechanics of certain characters. Last thing is that I'm not counting Ironbro in my tier list, as my tier list will look something like this. The criteria for my tier list is how well they kill enemies, their effectiveness in clearing levels, and if they are fun to play. I'm using the Filter Bros mod to help me get some footage for each character. The link for the mod and how to install will be in the description. I'll be using my own tier list which will also be in the description. Without further ado, enjoy the tier list. Rambro. The first character we play, and the most basic. Has an M60 with decent range, 6 grenades, and can get by in most situations. That being said, he's D tier. He may be reliable, but his M60 does the most pitiful damage possible. Your bullets actually hit the first thing in front of you, and that includes mook corpses. So most of the time you'll die from nukes protected by corpses on the ground. Your grenade can be pretty good, if you can throw it where you want it to, which is about 30% of the time. You can spam throw grenades, which does a lot of damage to bosses. But you know what would be better? A character that can shoot unlimited numbers of grenades. Basic and boring, but slowly and surely gets the job done. Great start to the tier list, D tier. Brommando. He's actually decent. One of the better explosive characters in my opinion. Though spoiler alert, explosive characters aren't exactly my favorite. However, his rockets does go a good distance, has decent rate of fire, and his rockets barrage special is pretty good against vehicles and on-wall turrets. However, when he locks his damage, he needs 2 rockets to kill a bruiser. His rockets has a small AoE when it explodes, and the rocket hitbox isn't really generous, and can actually miss your enemy by a hair. If I had to describe it, it's sort of like the direct hit from Team Fortress 2. No splash, but strong direct damage. His rocket barrage is actually the best part about him, as it can go about 26 blocks, and be a safe distance from vehicles and enemies off screen. He also doesn't do well with spread out enemies, as his rockets hit the first thing in front of him. That includes corpses. He does well with groups of enemies, but what explosive character doesn't? He's good at early game, but falls off at mid to late game. B tier. B.A. Broracus. He's one of the best close-up damage characters, and the reason for that is that he makes the alien levels a breeze to go through. He isn't just good at the alien levels as well, and is overall a really good character for maps with a lot of small compact areas. The flamethrower does great damage, pushes explosive characters away from him, and stuns every move he ignites. His incendiary grenades are powerful too, as it has a huge radius, and the flames can curve around corners, igniting enemies that might not even be near. However, his biggest weakness is the lack of range. His flamethrower can only go so far. He is susceptible to open long stretches of terrain, but any close quarters maps, trust me, no one's going to be able to touch it. Powerful and doesn't pity a fool. S tier. Brodell Walker. He's also really damn powerful. He's one of the contenders of the best close-up damage characters in the game. They're probably the quickest fiery out of all the shotgun characters in the game. It's like playing with an unlimited firing AE-12. The shotgun is slightly weaker than the other shotgun characters. However, his shotgun at close range instantly gives any enemies in his face, so there really isn't any point in comparing. His airstrike special can be really good on some levels, but it's generally not that effective if you're not in an open area. I think it's best used as a scaring tool to scare mooks long enough to get close and one-shot them. It's pretty fun to play, and always satisfying to turn mooks into tomato paste. A tier. Broheart. We've had our time choosing whether he goes low C or D tier, as he, in my opinion, is better than Rambro, but that is best as he could get. His most prominent feature is his flashbangs, has a wide radius, curves around corners, and can stun enemies. Though Rambro has a range advantage by 5 blocks, Broheart fires faster and does more damage. I'll still put him at D for now, but he's honestly in the fine line of C and D. Mac Broser. I think a lot of people play Mac Broser the incorrect way. I see him as a rush explosive character and not someone you should take your time with. The TNT attack is really powerful with its ability to stick to enemies and surfaces. His main weakness is the lack of range, as the TNT only goes about 2 feet in front of him. He can also cause fear in the mooks when he sticks with them with TNT, and sometimes it doesn't work and they just don't care. His Turkey Bomb is really useful, able to take off enemy flak at a close range, and have them all curiously walk towards his Turkey Bomb as his 10-second timer goes off. They say he's better as a character to rush with, as his lack of range and a fear factor with his TNT makes him a good character to speed through the level. Use his Turkey Bombs when you find yourself in a pickle, but wait until it explodes as you can only place one down. However, the strategy is risky. He needs 2 TNTs to kill bruisers, and spamming the TNT can screw you over most of the time. Pretty risky to play him, but fun as hell. Top C tier. Brade. Our first melee character, and a really good one at that. He's really fast and has increased jump height, his katana swings super fast, reflects bullets, and can take out a bruiser without him even noticing. His air dash special allows him to dash forward, destroying anything in his way. He ignores gravity and is invincible during the dash. But you're probably saying to yourself, well, what about range? Well, if you use his melee ability, he's able to throw knives that can go about 5 blocks distance. He's powerful and really good at clearing levels. S tier. Bro Dredd. Alright, so Bro Dredd is pretty good, and the reason for that is his ability to just one-shot mooks. His rifle has really good range, and can ricochet off the terrain, but has a slow firing speed. His special is a remote-controlled rocket that can be used to deal with any enemies that you can't deal with yourself. He also has a taser that can stun enemies, which can be useful against enemies like bruisers. His flaws is that corpses also block his bullets, and controlling the rocket isn't exactly the easiest thing to do, but he is fairly effective in clearing most levels. Strong B tier. Bro in black. Now I'm just gonna say it, he is D tier. Oh! He's probably the strongest damage-wise explosive character in the game. Well, actually second strongest. But the recoil on the Noisy Cricket basically flings him way too much. So much in fact that it has screwed me over many times than I can count. It has a fairly decent range, but spamming the Noisy Cricket is definitely not a good idea. His Neuralizer special shoots a confusion ray in a straight line, which is as useless as it sounds. Since the Noisy Cricket does so much destruction, why would you use the Neuralizer? My suggestion is not to spam and fire when you have to. I find him infuriating to play, as I feel like I'm fighting myself from being pushed off the map than the actual enemies. Call it a skill issue, but D tier. Snake Broskin. Dual silence SMGs? Yes please. If Broheart is the upgraded version of Rambro, and Snake Broskin is the upgraded version of Broheart. First off, the silence SMGs are really good. Actually, anything silence is just really good. The bullets won't hit corpses, and it allows you to be stealthy. Though the dual silence Mac 10 is weaker than the other silence weapons, it has an insane fire rate, and is able to shred most enemies with ease. The hologram is a really unique special ability. It obviously makes a hologram of you to distract enemies, but allows you to teleport away or towards enemies. You can use the hologram as a safety net to do as much destruction as you can, and teleport away when you could have died, or use it to get closer to enemies. To top it all off, he has a glider that he can use to skip a portion of the map if you find a high enough place to jump off of. My only gripes I have is that the hologram acts like a grenade and can be in the not most optimal spot. And sometimes deploying the glider can be annoying if you really just want to go instantly down a level. Pause. Alright, I just found this out while writing my script, but you can pick up the hologram by pressing the melee button, throwing it somewhere else. That's about it. Solid A tier. Brominator. Like he said, I'll be back. And here he is. Wielding his minigun, Brominator is able to shoot a whole slew of bullets after revving up for 0.5 seconds. With a range of 8 blocks and insane fire rate, the drawback he has is an insane recoil that pushes him in the opposite direction. However, you can use this drawback and do something beautiful with it. Which is jetpack joyriding your way to the end of the map. This is actually a really effective strategy in clearing some levels, and his special ability helps with that. Being invincible for 5.5 seconds, he's insanely strong, and whether playing him slow or fast, he's effective in finishing that level. S tier. Brobocop. On hindsight, Brobocop doesn't seem that special of a character. He has a pistol that shoots at bursts of bullets, he can aim lock towards enemies on screen, and has a data spike as his melee. However, there is something special about his pistol. We can charge it. Specifically, charge it enough to the point where it shoots a volley of bullets. I don't even have to mention anything else. Make sure every nuke is fired. This automatically gets an A tier, no questions asked. Indiana-Bros. No, I thought we put slavery past us. That was a terrible joke. Indiana-Bros whip can cause a fear effect towards enemies at an 8 block distance. It's really spammable, and can be extremely handy to take enemies out like bruisers and executioners, as they would be too scared to shoot you back. Hell, they don't even need to be hit by the whip. Well, let's say they're out of range from your whip. Well, fear not, as your special is a revolver with 6 powerful shots. These shots can pierce through many enemies and does insane damage at point blank range. The whip has another ability where it can attach onto any roof surface and can swing to launch yourself into another area. You also have a pickaxe that is really effective at digging and reenacting yourself playing Minecraft. The problem I find with this character is that you can accidentally attach yourself to a ceiling surface, which can screw you over quite a bit, and sometimes your bullet doesn't kill a bruiser because you're too far. B2 character overall. Brolliams is probably the best shotgun character in the game. The reason why I say this is the special. His Chainsaw Massacre special allows him to just skip whole areas of the level without consequence. Any suicide move he kills doesn't hurt him, he can reflect the bullets in front of him, and he's super fast. His boomstick shotgun has like a block of more range than the other shotguns, but honestly it doesn't really matter. Shotguns are just so OP and insta-gib any enemies in your way. That's about it. A groovy S tier. Mr.Anderbro. We have been expecting him. What's special about his character is his dash ability. Though not as powerful as Brade's, he's able to ignore gravity and plow through enemies. What sets him apart is that he can dash in any direction, and slamming into the surface will cause a shockwave that does damage. And when I say he can dash, well, he can dash. He also throws really fast punches that can launch mooks, and his bullet shield special allows him to reflect bullets, acid, rockets, and more towards his enemies. I guess you could say that he took the red pill. He's pretty good, and I wish that his character has some type of range attack, or some explosive resistance when he dashes, as you might just dash a little too far into explosive barrels. Solid A tier. The Boondock Bros are interesting characters to say the least. I say that because they're a little bit buggy as dual characters. Both have dual pistols and have the same damage and range as Rambro. If one of them dies, one becomes enraged and starts blasting through everybody. Their special move is bringing back one of the brothers from death, and if both are alive, you summon Broddock, and he's basically the same as one of the brothers but controlled by AI. If he dies, you both be enraged, and if one of the brother dies, then he'll be enraged, and AI just starts blasting. The Boondock Bros, in my opinion, are just not really good. They're pretty efficient in Iron Bro, but other than that, they're just Rambro but slightly faster fire rate and no grenades. They're C tier. Brochetete. Brochete is our first push character. I don't really know what the category is called, but the reason why I say that is his push mechanic when throwing the machetes. It is oddly satisfying sticking mooks with machetes and launching them away from you. This mechanic is especially useful against suicide mooks and those stupid acid xenomorph things. His machete flurry special is pretty good against vehicles and certain bosses. He's able to direct his special in any direction while his special is active, and defy gravity in midair. It's pretty good, and a solid B tier. Broden the Brobarian. He's our first slow melee character, and it shows. He swings pretty slow, and definitely not a character you want to rush with. What makes him special is his charge ability with his sword. At full charge, he can cause a mini shockwave similar to his special, and decimate his enemies at close range. He doesn't even have to be fully charged to create a shockwave, but can make a wave strong enough to push back enemies. Broden's lunging slam special allows him to create a huge shockwave that hurts enemies at a 10 block distance. Though the charge ability is pretty good, for some reason why it has a 4-second charge while Brobocop's charge is only 3, and we know who is the strong character here. He's C tier, but he's on the midline between low B and C. Ripbro. Do you hate xenomorphs? Well, so does she. Ripbro is unique, as I can't consider her an explosive character, nor as a bullet character. She's kind of in our own category, if that makes sense. Her pulse rifle is unique, being the first shot stuns enemies, and the quick second shot will load them up, affecting enemies around them. Her AoE on her pulse rifle shot is pretty generous as well. She probably has the best single target weapon out of everybody. Her flamethrower ability is pretty strong as well, and she releases a wall of fire that goes a pretty good distance until it hits a wall. Her rifle has good range, good fire rate, and look how much damage I do to Terrabot. Only thing I wish was that the flamethrower had the ability to go through a 15 block range unimpeded by a wall that are higher than 3 blocks. That might make it overpowered, but it would be fire. She's signing off, B tier. Time Bro. Are you stuck in the annoying section? Well, how about you do it in slow motion? Time Bro's slow motion ability is honestly the best thing about him. He has 2 time slow specials that last 8 seconds each. You can literally just skip through huge chunks of levels just with that time alone. Hell, if you find another ammo crate during your time slow stroll, you can just complete the map in slow motion. I mean, there is a covert mission that demonstrates that. His rifle is decent, it shoots a burst of bullets with decent range and rate of fire. I can take out bruisers in 2 bursts up close. The slow-mo is just too damn good, A tier. Broniversal Soldier. After his massive rework, is he actually usable now? Well, I shouldn't say usable, as he was pretty broken when he had that 9 syringes to infinitely revive himself. But is his rework good? Yeah, he's fairly balanced, I should say. His Brocketeer shotgun? Wait, I don't think that's right. I always thought that thing was a rifle the whole time. But anyways, he burst fires 3 bullets every second, and has a decent damage in range. Where he really shines is in drilling shots that allow this sort of steroid effect on him. This effect includes speed boost, auto fire instead of burst, and increased fire rate. Wait, I think those are the same thing. He can revive enemies and allies, though reviving enemies is pretty useless, and revive himself from death whether the adrenaline shot is in effect or not. He's decent, and I'll leave it at that. B tier. Colonel James Broddock. I honestly believe he's the most disliked bro in the whole roster of characters, and I can see why. I mean, there are people defending him out there, but I'm not one of those people. The reason for that is just because he's infuriating to play sometimes. His grenades just bounce off everything, and I wish his grenade just exploded on impact sometimes. The trajectory of his grenades is slightly too high, and the distance it covers is also too short. It's just pain. He got a slight rework, and a buff deck making him more spammable, and being able to cook his grenades honestly makes him more infuriating, as you just try to launch a perfectly timed grenade and it just blows up in your face. I'll say that launching the perfect grenade is satisfying, but the only good thing I could say about him is his cluster grenades. It shoots out 3 small bombs upwards and another 3 small bombs after that. The cluster grenades are good against bosses that stand still, mainly worm enemies. The cluster grenades are so good in fact that he gets top D tier. Cherry Broling. Now I think a lot of people have been using her the wrong way. Remember when I said that in the Brominator section, that he could just jetpack Bro right to the end of the map? Yeah, she is that jetpack Bro right character. She shoots downwards and is able to launch herself vertically a few feet, but honestly all she needs is just a little bit of height and rocket jump to get her going. If you know what I mean. And if you do know what I mean, and is getting herself all the way to the end of the map. She is a lot more controllable than Brominator when getting to the end of the map, and she's basically designed to be used as a rush character. I mean, her special is literally called rocket jump in the wiki. She can fire horizontally, yeah, but the machine gun leg is so pitiful that Rambro's M60 actually could beat it. The main source of damage is the rockets whenever you happen to just touch the ground. You can just hover over enemy heads and shoot them above as a safe way of getting kills. The only point she falters at is at alien levels as it's close quarters, but it's great for open maps and the hell levels. Solid A tier. Bromax. I honestly have a hard time deciding where him or Ash Brolin is the better shotgun character, and I honestly still can't decide. Bromax has the highest damage with his Dragon Breath shotgun and has the worst range out of all of them. He's generally really good on all levels, and the fire that comes from his shotgun really helps for the alien levels. His boomerangs are surprisingly useful, blocks enemy bullets and shines during boss fights as boomerangs stay in place and return back to him to be reused. I mean, look at the Terracrawler boss fight. Look at the damage with me pairing the boomerang and the fire shotgun together. Honestly, I believe Ash Brolium is best at general levels, while Bromax is really good at boss fights. They both serve a different purpose, and why can't two goats just coexist? S tier. The Brode. Not as good as Brade, but not as bad as Broden. Bro sits on that middle line as a melee character. Her swing gives a lunge, and staying still while swinging just has her firing away. This lunge is similar to Mr.Anderbro's boost, but just isn't as spammable. However, depending on what direction you are, it can be used to get closer to your enemies or as a double jump. Her exploding heart technique gives her even a longer lunge, and whatever enemies she hits, this includes vehicles and traps, will explode them so they have no future. One thing I do like about her special is that if it doesn't connect to any enemies, it won't be used up, but has a slight cooldown for it to be used again, which this idea should be used a lot more for more bros. But one thing I don't really like is how the punch doesn't immediately blow them up. I can give the enemy an opportunity for them to shoot you if you already alerted them, allowing them to do unfinished business. As I already described her as the middle line, she is in the middle. B tier. Double Bro 7. His name is Bro. James Bro. Double Bro 7 is unique because of his various specials he can have. His silence pistol is also the strongest out of all the silence weapons, having the most range and damage. He has 4 different specials, a martini that doesn't do anything, but can be used to kill a mook, which is funny, and you can actually get drunk if you drink enough martinis. The jetpack special is similar to the one that Brocketeer has with launching himself up and leaving fire. However, it only lasts for like 2 seconds, and it's not really that useful. The laser watch is useful. Using it alone makes it an alright special. Shooting a laser that goes 120 degrees and igniting people is alright, but where he really shines is this glitch where if you continue shooting and use a laser watch, it does crazy damage. Like I mean one-shotting Satan damage. It's really good for a lot of bosses, and I really hope it doesn't get patched. However, I will not be counting glitches as it would be unfair and will unintentionally boost characters to higher tiers. The last special is Disguise, that can be used to neutralize any aggression from any enemy, even if you shoot them in the back of the head. The thing I dislike is that we can't switch which special we'd want to do first, and have to waste the other to just reach the damn disguise. Shaken Not Stirred is a B tier. the Brodator. He might be ugly, but god is he super fun to play. Similar to Brochetete, his spear throw mechanic actually sticks enemies. However, he can stick them to walls in Predator fashion. He also has a charge mechanic, which used can kebab 4 enemies in a row, and nothing is more satisfying than kebabbing 4 mooks in a row. The charge is really quick and can hit enemies at really far ranges. His hunt special allows him to be invisible and take off all aggro off him. While invisible, a red circle will expand from him, auto-locking to enemies that the red circle touches, and fire blue plasma at them. His lasts about 5 seconds, and is really good. But that's not all. He also has a self-destruct button when he dies, attracting enemies to him, and has a huge explosive radius. He skins mooks with his melee, and you can stand on the spears. You can also reenact aliens vs predators for the alien levels. What is there not to love? Strong A tier. Brocketeer. This guy actually has a jetpack, so do we consider him jetpack joyriding? I don't know, but what I do know is that his jetpack is the most optimal way to play him. Quite literally too. His Luger is really weak, like weaker than Rambro's M60 weak. His jetpack is actually his strongest weapon. When he jumps to use his jetpack, he releases a fire AoE attack that hits enemies that are 2 blocks radius around him. He can get pretty high before slowly descending to the ground, but he can also boost himself forward with his punch melee as he uses a jetpack to dash forward. His special Brocketeer dive is sort of similar to Bronen's shockwave special. He jumps up in the air and flies down at a 45-degree angle, and is invincible when he lands. Now I'm just gonna say it, I'm not a big fan of his character. Sadly I'm a cherry rolling guy myself. I know, but honestly, the 45-degree dive bomb can be infuriating, especially if you're just trying to kill an enemy right under you. If you're able to just choose what direction the dive is, like holding the down button will dive you down, and holding the jump button dives you up, I think I would like his character more. The jetpack being the main source of damage is cool, but he's just really weak. I know he's a movement character, but man, I feel like I'm doing negative damage. Jetpack can be fun, but he's a B tier. Broheart. I love when he fought George Washington in an epic rap battle for freedom. Wait, I think I got that wrong. Broheart is another slow melee character. His claymore has a wider swing than other melee characters, and he can throw it. The sword throw does pretty good damage, and can go pretty far. It also can reflect bullets when on the ground until you pick it up again. However, you should still be careful throwing it, as it's possible for you to lose it. If you do lose it, you can use your fist and swing as fast as Mr.Anderbro, but the best part about him is his freedom rush ability. Using it will scare enemies out of your way, increase your attack and speed, and it lasts for about 7 seconds. You have 2 of these, and I find it best to skip or get past difficult sections of the map. Honestly, I don't really use them much. Sure, the sword throw is cool, but it doesn't even kill bruises in one throw, and doesn't even destroy something as simple as boxes. He should have some call feature to call his sword back to him. I don't know if that's movie accurate, as I never watched Braveheart, but it would make him a lot better. Maybe a Mel Gibson movie is his legacy. C tier. The Brofessional. By the looks of it, he seems weaker than 007. His pistol is weaker and has shorter range. However, what sets him apart is his teleport stab ability. While teleport stabbing, he's invisible and invincible for 1.5 seconds and stabs opponents nearby. His teleport can teleport 2 blocks away, and it can be increased by enemies nearby. The best part is that he can teleport straight up through metal walls, and he probably has one of the best melee features in the game. His special is summoning Brotilda to snipe enemies that become targeted by a slow red wave, and she makes sure she gets the job done by shooting tougher enemies multiple times. She does pretty good against bosses, especially the worm ones. The only criticism I have is that the special shouldn't be consumed if I didn't mark anybody with a red wave. Other than that, he is the best silencer character. A tier. Broden. Would you believe me that he's the strongest character damage-wise? Well, he does 50 plus damage with his lightning. He's sort of similar to Ellen Ripbro, as his lightning attacks blow up enemies, and if he shocks them enough they explode. His range might be small, but can cause a chain reaction with the lightning, and hit multiple enemies farther than his range if they are close to each other. The main drawback of this being he cannot move while firing. His special is the Mortal Kombat attack, also known as the Torpedo Lunge, where he carries any enemies in his path with him and launches them up in the air at the end. This move is not affected by gravity, and he is invulnerable while in this state. He also has a teleport ability while tapping down twice, but isn't as good as Leon's teleporter. His special is kind of lackluster, as you're really depending on the fall damage from you launching them. I hope that you don't hit terrain. It's not really useful for close quarters map. There's nothing more annoying than having a move out of range shoot you while you stand still like a sitting duck. I do see him being a rush character, as the covers a really good distance while you're in the air. He's really good vehicle killer, but his flaws are there. High C tier. The Brolander. Alright, I'm gonna get this straight. 0 charge Brolander would have basically created F tier on this list, but 5 charge Brolander gets S tier all the way. His gimmick is really interesting, and I think too much people write him off as a bad character. Now I'm not gonna say he's a good character either, but when he starts off rough. He starts with no charge and is basically slower than every character in the game. He gains charges by killing 5 smaller mooks or 1 large one, and also vehicles and turrets. Once he starts getting like 2 or 3 charges is when he starts getting really strong. He starts one-shotting bruisers, increased speed and jump height, does electricity damage at 5 charges. His quickening special creates lightning around him and provides temporary invincibility. He also has electric punch that gets faster the more charges he has. If he has 2 charges, he can revive himself from death. The problem lies with the fact that when he dies at full 5 charges and revives himself, he loses all the charges. Like why? The math doesn't even add up there. He might as well have just died. He should have had 3 charges left, instead of just going back to square one. He's also a character that lacks a lot of range, so if you see something coming, hopefully you don't whiff your slash. And don't even get me started on alien levels. Getting even closer to Xenomorph is a death wish. I think that he deserves a buff, like maybe 3 mook kills get you a charge, or he starts off with like 1 charge to get him some sort of head start. Through all of this, I don't think he deserves D tier, but he barely slivers out of D, and gets a low decent C tier. Dirty Broly. Do you feel lucky, bro? This is the first loud bullet weapon that has penetration on it. Well, actually Indiana-Brones does, but I won't count it as it is a special. What it is first at doing is having a reload. A painful 1.5 second reload. But right after you can start blasting off 6 shots. His Molotov cocktails are similar to incendiary grenades, but they break on impact to a surface and explode into 4 fireballs, which can do a lot of damage to bosses. The worst thing about him is not his reload, but the damage he does. He can one-shot mooks no problem, but when it comes to something like bruisers, you better have all 6 shots in. Hell, even Xenomorphs take 2 shots to kill. He's good early to mid game, but she'll always pass that. B tier. Tank Bro. If I had to describe her, she is like the upgraded version of Brommando. It is crazy how powerful she is. Her rocket does 30 plus damage and does huge AoE. You can let her walk up to anything and it will die, guaranteed. Her fire rate and range is a lot lower than Brommando's, but it doesn't matter as she just deletes everything in her path. She technically has a built-in mech drop as her special. Though not as powerful as the mech drop, her tank special is extremely powerful. It drops from the sky, creating a shockwave and killing enemies underneath. The tank can jump and has 2 firing modes. She can shoot with an arc, with spammable tank shells, or shoot in a straight line with slower but powerful rockets. Her tank even has a special as well, as double tapping the forward key will have the tank fully charge ahead. I'm not sure how much health the tank has, or whether it has a time limit for it to cease to exist, but regardless, it's super tanky. Heh, get it? Okay, I'm done. She's pretty good in most levels, great boss killer, and vehicle destroyer. Her only drawback is that she can launch herself if she is really close to her rocket. She doesn't face any recoil when she shoots it from afar. So yeah, extremely powerful, so much fun, best explosive character, please don't nerf. S tier. Broly. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Alright. Hopefully mooks aren't made out of water. Broly is really similar to Broden in a lot of aspects. However, he does have his own style. He does specific moves depending on if he's attacking up, or down, or side to side. He whips out his nunchucks while stationary and does decent damage. He can also reflect bullets with his nunchucks, and does a dash similar to Mr.Anderbro, but without a slam. His slow motion fight scene special is a little weird. Time slows down and you have to move him to where he strikes. The slow motion ends when he had made 15 strikes or missed one. It is a little hard to control, and a bit jank sometimes, but for some reason, he just demolishes worm bosses with no slow motion. I assume this is because it's an enemy you can't go through, but that worm is molding right now. A little hard to control, but overall good and fun to play. You are my friend. A tier. Alright, we are on the new ones now. Zebra Warrior Princess. Now, before going into this, I always planned to put her on D tier, but someone took her spot, and for some reason while I was playing her, I just couldn't die as her. I think it's because her jump and ledge ability allows her to just get really close without them even realizing. She does pretty good damage, and launch her enemies high enough for them to die from fall damage. The reason why I thought she was D tier was because she lacked a lot of range, and Destructo Disc special doesn't really do much but cause fear from the mooks, which can be useful in certain situations. My problem with her is that why can't the disc just go in a straight line? Like why does that ricochet off of everything? I mean at least it comes back to her, but it doesn't really do it in the most optimal way. It's like those bouncing DVD logos you find on old TVs. And her Warcry scream is just... I mean, anything for the victory, right? Biggest surprise to me, honestly? Low B tier. Demolition Bro. Out of popular demand, they made a less annoying version of Colonel James Broddock. Bouncing his way into a tier list, Demolition Bro can throw bombs at a short range that explode in a cross shape and be remotely detonated. The bomb is pretty bouncy and doesn't hit enemies like grenades do. Has a good area effect and throw enemies into the air for them to take fall damage. The cryogenic grenade breaks on the ground on impact and freezes enemies at a large range from where the grenade has been thrown. He's like a weird combination of MacBrover and Colonel James Broddock, as he has MacBrover's range, but bounce a Broddock. He faces similar problems with them as well, as Demolition Bro needs 2 bombs to kill Bruiser, and even though I said he was less annoying, bouncy bombs that don't really go far isn't what I would call fun. The cryogenic grenades are also grenades, and it's also thrown like one, making it totally possible to just miss where you want to throw them. But the range is so big that it's just a slight nitpick. Like the characters that described him, let's put him between them. Low C tier. Burt Brommer. Sniper rifle? How broken can this be? If you couldn't tell, it's very broken. Burt Brommer is probably the most powerful new addition out of the roster. With his sniper rifle, he can shoot at very long ranges, his drawbacks being a slight slower rate of fire, if you can consider it slow, and a block of knockback. However, it does barely anything as you demolish everything at basically a 15 block radius. He also has a magic bullet special. It's pretty similar to Robocop's targeting system, except that you have to move it yourself. Use the scope to target enemies, and the bullet homes at the enemy you mark, and boom, they cease to exist. The bullet straight up goes through terrain, and you have 5 of them, so have fun. You can also have it just shoot in a straight line by activating it and then immediately firing. Pretty good against stagnant bosses. I think its weakness is surprisingly vehicles, as they need multiple shots and the knockback doesn't really help with that, and a special makes them a sitting duck. Really fun to play, great at clearing levels, decent boss killer, and is always satisfying to one-shot nukes. Might be one of the best killers in the game. S tier. Seth Brondle. Oh my god, it's hideous. Wait, that just looks like me. Seth Brondle is mechanically the most unique character in the game. He can fly, stick to ceilings, spit acid. What is there not to love? He is actually one of the first characters I know that can actually make suicide mooks not explode. He disintegrates regular mooks pretty well, including one-shotting bruisers. He has a teleport special that teleports him a pretty good distance away, or into enemy places, telefragging them. Right now he sounds decent, but god, playing him kinda sucks. First off, I always just accidentally start flying, or stick to the ceiling, and though it sounds dope, you are ridiculously slow. Like, I'm talking might as well just stand in place slow. His vomit projectile arc is so small that you just straight up have to walk in front of them to actually hit him. Even dropping it from the sky covers so little distance. He is mechanically really frustrating to play. His teleport ability is really strong, even killing the Queen Xenomorph with a teleport. But what if I tell you, he has insane level clearing potential. If you just hold your forward and jump key and use your teleport ability, you could do something like this. Easy win, easy life. Obvious S tier. Alright, in all seriousness, he's like a C tier. Alright, Brophy the Vampire Slayer. Oh man, I have something to say. You know how I said for Zebro that she would have been D, but someone took her place? Well, guess who that somebody is. Yeah, Brophy is really not good. Actually, in my opinion, she is the worst bro. She shoots stakes that are thrown similar to the one Brochete and Brodator throws, but way worse. She has a shorter range and slower fire rate. Her Holy Water special ability creates a long line of black fire. She can stand in the black fire and have a halo over her head, which allows her to revive herself after death. She can do this infinitely, as long as the fire is alive, which burns for a pretty long time. Pretty useful in co-op. Once she leaves the fire, the halo effect will be around a bit before dissipating, and she will be back to normal. The Holy Fire can be used to burn enemies in the hell levels, so that's a plus. So why did I say she's the worst bro? My problem with the Holy Fire is that it's still thrown like a goddamn grenade. Like, I want to get it clear that I understand crouching throws the grenades at your feet, but it should do that in the first place. I don't want to play catch up with the Holy Fire. The Holy Fire is supposed to be a safety net, so wouldn't it be better if I just threw it down my feet, instead of just triangulating the distance on where I might be in trouble? I mean, you can only crouch when you're still, and it just takes a whole second to bend your legs. First things on my mind when I'm in a pickle isn't crouching, but spamming my special so hopefully I can get out of it. Also, you could just die immediately when you get revived, and shoot your dead body out of the flame. I don't have footage of that, but this did happen once. The fire can be destroyed if the terrain under it dies, so hopefully no suicide moves are near you. If a part of the terrain is slightly too high, enjoy losing half of your holy fire. At this point you should just use your stakes. Honestly, I know what the holy fire is used for now. It's to preemptively idiot-proof something stupid you're about to do! Alright, I'm back. I needed to cool off a bit. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah. She's just a worse version of Broniversal Soldier. I think her character needs some reworking, but the most coherent one is having her drop the holy fire where she stands. She receives some buffs from the fire, like a faster fire rate on her stakes, and a holy effect that lasts a lot longer, and blinks when it goes away. I know she sounds like Broniversal Soldier, but that's all I could really think of without going too overboard. Please buff D tier. Desperado. This is so sad. Alexa, play Desperado. After that rant, it's good to have a fun character next. Desperado is honestly the weakest out of all the shocking characters. His range is just non-existent, and he is surprisingly really weak, as it takes a couple of shots to just kill a bruiser. Where he shines is his band special, where he summons 2 band members and gets all the surrounding mooks to dance before blasting them to smithereens. He has a guitar slide that gives him a speed boost and reflect glare, plays a guitar while idle and can't get enemies to dance, which will take off all aggro that enemies had off of him. He hits enemies with his guitar. He's a pretty fun character, but lacks a lot of range, and having only one band special puts him at B tier. Alright, final stretch, Expendabros. Now for some reason why, the Expendabros in Broforce is a bit different from the ones in the expansion. I'm not sure if the mod made any changes to their characters, as they seem to be buffed a bit in Broforce. However, to be safe, I'm just only going to be ranking them from how they played from the expansion, but I'm also including footage from them in Broforce and their expansion. Alright, let's begin. Brony Ross. I should say this in the intro, but I just want to say that some of these weapons and ideas were reused or Expendabros for bros that came out later. Hell, each of these characters are either better or reskins of their Broforce counterpart. And this one is no exception. Brony Ross is basically an upgraded version of Rambro. For some reason why, his pistols are silenced, but in Expendabros, they are loud as shit. His pistols do more damage and has a faster fire rate than Rambro, but does have a shorter range. He throws 3 sticky grenades on each use of his special, and can stick to anything. It's pretty good against vehicles. However, he can be killed by his own grenades. He's pretty good, though nothing special. C tier. Lee Bromax. Really similar to Brochete, they have the same range when it comes to throwing knives, but where they differentiate is damage and fire rate. Brochete deals more damage, but Lee shoots 3 knives, which is 1 extra over Brochete's 2 knives per 0.5 seconds. Really small difference, but let's make a bigger comparison. Brochete has a machete flurry, while Lee has a knife rain. His knife rain throws knives at an arc, and a far range from left to right. Though this is up to personal preference, I think Brochete wins out here as his machete flurry ability allows him to rapidly throw his knives at any direction, giving great single target damage instead, while Lee gives good AoE damage. Behind Brochete, B tier. Brornar Jensen. With his grenade launcher, his similar counterpart is obviously Colonel James Broddock. Now, after his buff, Colonel James Broddock is more spammable and can cook his grenades. Brornar Jensen shoots sticky grenades. Brornar Jensen wins here. I'm sorry, but sticky grenades is literally what Broddock needs. Rollers just screw you over too much, and his grenade launcher has a longer range, and stronger surprisingly. He also has the RC car as his special to top it all off. Sadly, Broddock got smacked here. C tier. Bro Caesar. He has a minigun. You know who also has a minigun? The Brominator. These miniguns are exactly the same, however the specials are not. Brominator has invincibility, but Caesar has a similar special as Broden. Wow, copying 2 Arnold played characters. Caesar has a minigun leap that shoots behind him, leaps way farther than Broden, and does more damage. He's literally better than Broden in every aspect. Though invincibility is strong, I'd rather just take 5 powerful shockwaves. Sorry Brominator, but Terry Crews takes it here. Actually, I'm surprised we don't have a Terry Crews character in the main game. Well, he doesn't really do action movies, unless you count his appearance in White Chicks as Latrell Spencer. He is S tier. Broctor Death. He's a combination of the Brode, Broden, and Brade. The stats of his knife and his swings is exactly like the Brode. His special is exactly like Broden, but only slightly better than Broden's. And lastly, he's similar to Brade, as they are both played by Wesley Snipes. Man, Free Life literally just Control C, Control V, and called it a day. But is he better than these characters? I don't think he's better than the Brode, as you all know how I feel about Broden's special. I know Broden's special does deal more damage, and there is more of it, but destroying terrain honestly should be included in Broden's special, and not just stop him early. I will put in a few characters behind the Brode, B tier. Toll Brode, Bromax, Brocketeer, and Dirty Brody all in one?
Yes, sir!
Though I was joking about Broctor Death, Tall Bro actually has something from each character. He has the exact same Dragon's Breath shotgun as Bromax, however he uses incendiary grenades like B.A. Broracus, but it's more like a Molotov from Dirty Brody's special. However, he can't throw it much farther and more fireballs come out. Now I'm gonna be honest here, I like B.A. Broracus' incendiary grenades a lot more than the fireballs, and the boomerangs, as I already said, untapped boss killing potential, so S tier. But not about these guys, except Dirty Brody, because you know why. Trent Broser, the last one and honestly unique out of everybody. I say unique, but that's just because they didn't fully control C, control V him to a character in Broforce. He is also different from his Broforce counterpart, as in Broforce, his shots are silenced and he has a longer range. But I digress. To get his special out of the way, it is exactly like Brodell Walker's special, so there's no comparing there. But what's crazy is that I describe Brodell Walker as an limited ammo AA-12, and Trent Broser holds an AA-12, which is surprising as it fires one shot, but I guess he holds slug rounds. This comparison is actually Dirty Brody again, as they both have penetrative rounds, though Dirty Brody does penetrate more enemies. Heh. Trent does more damage, has a longer range, and doesn't have to reload, so Dirty Brody again is done dirty. However, he does beat out Brodell here, as his range is far enough to take out enemies from a safe distance. He can one shot and penetrate 2 mooks, and has no drawback from continuous fire. Maybe that's why Brody needs a reload, unlike other things. He also dies to his own special when he's under it, so that's a minus I guess. Anyways, we're ending off of a banger. S tier. Alright, that is it. The whole tier list. It's a little messy as some characters are behind, or on the same tier, or basically tied to each other. Example being the top 3 S tier guys. This video is probably the longest I had to make. The script is about 15 pages long, and I need to give my voice a break. This video took some days to make, so hopefully you enjoyed it. This is my last Broforce video, so thank you for those who enjoyed the Broforce content. Not a lot of people are here for these end screens, so I'm just going to give a little life update. College is starting soon, so I'm going to be slowing my uploads. I'm not sure what game I'm going to be going to next, but hopefully it's a game you might have, or you want to see me play. Actually, leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for the next game. Also, I couldn't fit all the bugs in this video, so I'll be posting the remaining bugs in the description. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me as well. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, even though they are invalid. Just kidding, but not really. Thanks for watching, and Broforce forever.